With this, over to you, Jigar.
Thank you so much, Larissa. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another session of SAM4U. In today's session, we will focus more on the new features that will be available in the SAM4U new version release. So I will spend maybe a minute here to describe on a very high level this disclaimer slide. So as Larissa mentioned, the session is being recorded and the slides will be shared with all the participants. So this presentation is confidential and for informational purposes only. It does not represent a commitment or guarantee from SAP, and its contents, including future plans or features, may change at any time. SAP is not liable for any errors unless caused by serious misconduct. So this is a standard disclaimer slide and just wanted to read out this for you. A quick introduction. I am Jigar Gandhi, Adoption Insights and Services Manager from SAP North America team. I have over 20 years of IT experience with expertise in SAP software asset management, license optimization, and adoption insights and services. And today I have my colleague Christian Morales, who will co-present this session with me. So Chris, over to you for a quick introduction.
Thank you, Jigar. Appreciate it. So my name, as you mentioned, is Christian Morales. I also work for the Adoption Insight and Services team for North America. I've been with SAP for already 18 years, helping customers not only to measure what they're using in terms of SAP software, but also helping to improve the consumption of the software. So with that being said, let's go, Jigar, to the agenda for today. First of all, we're gonna go real quick on a recap of about what we discussed last week when we introduced the SAM4U tool. Right after that, we're gonna talk about the new features. There's gonna be a live demo about those new feature, and of course, we're gonna talk also about the Customer Influence Platform, which we're gonna go a little bit in detail about it and how can you help SAP shape these new tools. And then last but not least, we're gonna go over the Q&A. Any questions that you have, of course, we would like to solve it immediately. Thank you. So going on the recap of what we discussed last week, we introduced the SAM4U tool. In general terms, SAM4U is the SAP's software asset management tool, created specifically to help you manage your SAP software easily. And it only requires the implementation of a few nodes to get started. Very important to mention here, it's all data stays completely within your own systems. Only you have access to the information. SAP does not have access to your usage data. If you ever need to know what you're entitled to, in some cases, we understand it's not that easy to get that information internally within your teams. In terms of your SAP software licenses, we can provide that at any time. You will always know exactly what your license or what you're entitled to use. The measurement process is now automated and centralized. No more transactions like going through every single system, running USMM or manually classifying users. Now you can monitor all your systems in one single place directly through the SAM4U dashboard. The SAM4U helps you optimize the use of your SAP software, basically by identifying areas where you might reduce cost or improve efficiency. Today, we will go over some new features that will help you optimize even more your user licenses. Regarding your HANA database, there is no need to run extra measurements, transactions, or SAP nodes. The dashboard already includes the HANA database use with a detailed monthly breakdown for the past 12 months. And when it comes to user classification, we understand it can get complex in some cases, especially when users have a long list of roles. So basically, SAM4U helps you in that topic by showing you which roles exist, what classifications are assigned for those roles, which users are under each of the roles that you have created in your systems, and what objects and activities are included in each of those roles. This gives you clarity, all the clarity that you need to align your roles with your contractual licenses. The dashboards, the dashboard, yes, SAM4U dashboard shows you both the contractual user classification, which is based on authorizations, and at the same time, it will show you the active use classification, which reflects what the users are actively doing in the system. And finally, SAP provides support to implement the tool completely free of charge. There is no charge for you to implement this tool. With that recap in mind, let's take a look to the brand new features added to the SAM4U dashboard. So back to you, Jigar.
Thank you, Chris. So the software asset management tool, SAM4U, it is a tool for you. And this tool has been designed keeping customers in mind, and the new features are also being developed based on the feedback from the customers. So we launched this tool in 2024 in the pilot phase where we have a variety of customers implementing it from small customers to as low as 500 consolidated users to customers with large enterprises with as high as more than a million consolidated users. They all have successfully implemented. And while supporting them, we've gathered the feedback from them and tried to add new features with the upcoming releases of the tool. So in 2025, you can look out for some new features in terms of the optimization view, where you can see the Insights tab, where you have a view of the classified versus the authorized versus the active views view. And this is mainly a graphical representation of how many users are classified versus what they are authorized, and then what is the active use classification for those users. And in addition to that, there are other new features about the simulation of the tool, where basically you can run the simulations on the authorizations and the roles. And then it gives you an overview of by adding any authorization or by removing authorization, what would be the impact in terms of the FUE count or the overall S4 use type licenses. And then there are some more features in terms of the consolidation criteria. So you can now consolidate your users based on additional criteria like email address or full name. So earlier, the only criteria available was user ID, consolidate all the users, but now you can also consolidate by email ID or the full name. And then further transparency has been added to the authorization objects and the activity types within the authorization object. Like you can see now, the description for those activity types like 01 is add or create, or 03 is display, and so on. And last but not least, the user enablement, multi-user enablement feature. So you can now multiple logons are allowed to the SAM4U tool at the same time. And for the consolidated systems, you can also select the rule set per individual system. Just make a note of this disclaimer here that the features outlined above are planned for the future development and release in the upcoming versions. However, they are subject to change based on the customer feedback and will be prioritized accordingly. So these are planned, but it can change based on the feedback from the customers, and yeah, you can prioritize these in the upcoming releases. All right, so we've seen the new features, and now I will log on to the tool itself and show you those new features. This is our test system where we have tested the new features. So I'll start with the consolidation criteria. So now you can create a consolidation, and as you can see now, you have additional options like email address or full name, and then you can select these systems and create a consolidation based on email ID. And once the consolidation has been created, then you have an option to select the, the star rule set for individual system. This mainly helps you in an environment where you have systems with mixed scenario or core systems, and then you can individually select the rule set. And these rule set, they come from the authorization rule set management. So they have to be uploaded here. And then once you have created those consolidations, then you can select the consolidation here for individual systems from the drop-down here. And you can see the simulation feature right now, it is grayed out, but we can activate it by going to the authorizations. And here you can see, because we've selected the PCE rule set, you have the use types as advanced use, core use, and self-service use. And you can click on display roles. So it'll list down all the roles and their target classification based on the rule set selected. In the simulation, usually we try to lower down the authorization by looking at the users that have very high use rights, like advanced use. So you can just focus on those by filtering out only the advanced use roles. So let's take an example here. Uh, I mean, this role, it is a composite role and it has 50 authorization objects to be changed. So if you see, for me to change this role or to make from advanced to core or to self-service, I have to change all of these. But yeah, you can review it. For simulation purposes, let's target maybe a smaller role. Um, this one where you have one authorization object that is marked as advanced. So we can see that this authorization object 81 schedule is marked as advanced. Now you have three options here. You can either change the authorization object activity value from 81 to maybe 03, or you can delete it, or you may want to add another authorization object. So for this, let's try to delete it. Now this is simulation, so you're not changing anything in the role. It's just simulating it. And right now it has deleted this authorization object. Whenever you make any changes, also have to recalculate it. So in the background, the processes are executed where it then reflects the authorizations in the role, and then it'll recalculate the user under advanced core and self-service. Now you see after we have deleted the authorization object, the simulation button has been activated. And you can also see the details here at the bottom about the changes or simulation that you have performed. Now, because this was a very small or minor change, which was affecting only 20 plus users, it did not really change anything in the numbers for the simulated count. You can see here the as is state where all your users are measured in the as is state. And these are the changes after the simulation. So as you can see, there's no change in the advanced use, core user self-service use after making that one change, because it's a very minor change. And even after deleting this authorization object, those users may be still getting advanced use access through another role. So let's try to run another simulation, maybe focus on this one user, which is marked as core. And we can see why this user is marked as core. So there is this role in SH2 system, which is core use. And let's add another authorization of advanced use here. So then this user will then get classified in the advanced category.
So we are still in the presentation mode, and Jigar is showing the demo, and we are trying to find the right criteria.
Yes, so I'm adding an authorization object here because it's a long list, so it takes a little while. Um, but yeah, I've added this authorization object s underscore user underscore group. I need to be a little patient because um, it has a lot of authorization objects. All right, I select the field name as activity and give the value as 01, which is add or create. And as you can see, I've added this activity value, add or create, and it has a target classification as advanced use. So you the status here, and now again you recalculate. So this will then be updated. There are background processes running, which will then update the role with this authorization object in the simulation. And now you can see this authorization object has been added with the new value as 01. And now you can see that that core user, one core user, is then transferred to the advanced use here in the simulation. So this is how you can see the results. I mean, of course, uh, the idea is to lower down the authorization from advanced to core or to self-service category so that you pass on only the authorizations that are required for user's day-to-day operation and lower down your use type to the lowest level so that you benefit with the reduced FUE count. However, you also have the option to add more authorizations and then run it in the simulated environment and to see how does it affect your user classifications. All right, so that's it on the new features. So Chris, over to you for the customer influence platform.
Thank you, Jigar. Appreciate it. For the customer influence platform, you might be receiving via chat the link to this platform. And as mentioned on the last week presentation, we always are looking for feedback from our customers. The idea is to shape all the tools that we create based on our customers' feedback. And now, because of your voice is important to us, we have made easy the way for you to provide that feedback, and that is through the customer influence platform. The customer influence platform mainly has four different or key areas for you to submit your comments or your feedback in order to for us to create or to improve our tool. The first one is submitting new feature requests. So if you have any idea for something that we don't offer yet, something that could help streamline your work or unlock new value, just don't keep it to yourself. You can submit it, and these fresh ideas are the at the end of the day, these are the fuel that drives the innovation. The second is suggest any enhancements to the existing functionalities. Maybe there is a feature that you use often and you think, well, this would be better if. That's exactly the kind of input that we're looking for, because those small improvements are, at the end of the day, the ones that create a big impact. And your suggestions will help us to make what's good even better. Proposing performance improvements, things like speed, stability, and efficiency, those always matter. So if you notice areas where things could run faster or smoother, just let us know. Performance improvements often fly under the radar, and until they are fixed and everyone notices the difference, that's when we can make a huge difference by those updates. And you can also vote on existing ideas. So you don't need to come to the platform and with a new idea. You can also come to check what ideas have been submitted, and you can vote. You can vote of those already created ideas. So this will help us prioritize what matter most for our community of customers based on real user demand not on assumptions. By participating, you're not just giving feedback. At the end of the day, you're becoming part of the process that shapes the future of our tools and services. So please speak up, vote, and let's build this together. With that, let's open the floor for Q&A questions. I think we already have a few here. Jigar, if you don't mind, I'm gonna read
Mhm.
them so we can go over them. First one is rather than T codes, it is also showing the apps that are being used at my company. No one has access to the GUI. That's the question.
Okay, so basically the question is that rather than the T codes, they want to view the apps.
Um, at this point, it says exactly. It is also showing. So currently, they are able to see the apps that are being used. That's what it's mentioned by
Okay,
Henry.
so basically, just to clarify, the active use, it looks at
Hmm.
the reports, the transaction codes, or any RFC calls. So yeah, if you have something else shown, then yeah, we would like to take a look and we can try to help you out to understand the details about those apps being used or anything else. So yeah, please reach out to us and we would definitely like to help you out on this.
Perfect. The next question is regarding the active use. So
Mhm.
active use classification is based on which criteria?
So the active use is based on the last 90 days transaction codes executed by the user. So it checks the transaction codes executed by the user. And then for each transaction code, what is the authorization available with that transaction code through the role. So that is matched against the star rule set. So the underlying mapping of auth object and activity is still using the same star rule set. So the tracking is done only at the transaction code level, and then further it checks what authorization objects are required for the execution of the transaction code. And based on that, it'll classify the user under advanced core or self-service.
Thank you, Jigar. Following question is SAM4U an add-on product? Also, is there a cost to use SAM4U?
Mhm. So yes, SAM4U, it's an add-on which can be implemented by executing those nodes. And it's absolutely free. There's no cost to the customer for implementing the SAM4U tool.
Correct. And on top of that, not only it is free of charge of the implementation, also the support that we provide is free of
Absolutely.
charge.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. Following question is, do we have now a holistic view of all hybrid SAP landscapes in SAM4U just yet, included SaaS or BTP services and their consumption of CPEA credits, or currently it only exists in BTP cockpit?
So basically, the SAM4U right now offers a holistic view only for your users, engines, and HANA database. Of course, on one hand, we provide you with the customer license entitlement, which comprise of all the licenses you own. But on the other hand, the measurement test capabilities are only available for your users, engines, and HANA database. So unfortunately, right now, we cannot cover all the products or a complete view of your landscape with the cloud product or any other products. It just focuses on users, engines, and HANA database as of now.
Perfect. Thank you, Edgar. Following question is, does it work on systems with custom roles and T codes or authorizations?
So as of now, we are reviewing only the standard authorizations, but as the tool is evolving, we are adding more and more features. In the future, we may add to custom roles and custom transaction codes. But as of now, it just looks at the uh, standard authorization objects and classifies it based on the matching of the star rule set.
Perfect. Following question is, can SAM4U only be used on the public cloud, or can it be used on ECC, on-premise, private cloud?
So SAM4U, in fact, can be used on-prem as well as private cloud. It cannot be used for public cloud products or measurements.
Perfect. Thank you. Next one is, can we have the indicator of user ID is not under usage for last 6 months or 12 months?
Yes, absolutely. So in the SAM4U, you have the feature to look at the users who have not logged on to the system. And you can select the criteria based on your requirement. You may set it to 90 days, 180 days, 1 year, 200 days, depending on what you want to see. Yes.
Perfect. And the last question so far, it's where can I get the list of nodes to be applied in order to implement this add-on SAM for you?
So the notes are available in the SAP for Me portal. And in the previous session, we discussed about the prerequisites. So there's a slide where you have the easy access to that link, and then you can download the notes from the SAP for Me portal.
Perfect. I think that covered all the questions so far.
There are two more in the chat.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Yes. Could you show the engine's information? Is possible to dive in the information result of engines?
Of course. Yeah, I'll
Mhm.
let me log into the tool again and share my screen. So when you log on to the tool, this is a dashboard page and on the left, you see the engine section. This is where you get all the engines that are consolidated. And the measurable engines, they come from the consolidation of your system USMM files. And here you see the details about the engine description, um, the matrix, license unit. The license unit comes from the license entitlement file that we provide. The measured units, they come from the consolidation of the SAP systems. And then it compares what you licensed versus what is being measured and shows you the delta here. Now, for certain engines that act as an indicator where those measurement values from USMM are not reliable, they appear here. And then because the values are not reliable, it states whether the engine is active or inactive. For certain products where we don't have measurement capabilities and they need to be self-declared, you can edit and you can enter the self-declaration value here. And for self-declared other products, again, you can maintain them manually by declaring the values.
Thank you, Jigar. I have a few more questions now.
Mhm.
One of them is also in the chat. Uh, can you explain a bit more about the roles that are not classified? What does this mean?
So our roles are classified based on the authorization rule set that you upload into the tool. And that is mainly the star rule set that you can download also from the star node. And it mainly focuses on the core ERP system. So if you have any authorizations outside of the defined rule set, then they would be not classified.
Perfect. Just to add to that, if there is any test user, for instance,
Mhm,
those user
mhm.
which on a regular basis do not have any operational authorization, they would also be under those not classified roles, correct?
Correct.
Mhm. Perfect. Now let's go to the questions in the Q&A tool. Is it possible to set up the rule set to identify a specific population, like combine 90 inactivity and no authorizations or objects assigned?
So you have the simulation capabilities now. You can add authorization, you can remove authorization, you can play around with your roles and authorization for a user if you would like. And then, yeah, you can see the results updated.
Okay, and one question regarding that. Does the tool allow customers to adjust the rule sets manually, or the rule sets are already embedded into the tool and cannot be adjusted?
The rule set are predefined and they are defined by SAP as a standard. So you have to follow
Okay,
that rule set, and it's just an upload that needs to be done, and then it's all automatically calculated in the backend. I mean, you can, of course, it's an Excel file. You can change the rule set, but I would not encourage or advise to make those changes because then these rule sets are designed by our experts who have looked into the license definitions and created those rule set with a mapping of the auth objects and activities to the S4 use types.
Perfect. One more question. Is it possible to get the necessary documentation that it's presented here also that I can create a presentation to my management and I can answer that. Of course, we're going to provide this information after the call. The videos are going to be shared on the YouTube channel, and we will be more than happy to support you if you need us to have any call directly with you or with your management. We will be more than happy to do it. Now, one more question. Is it suggested to have the roles map to license in USMM for this SAM4U tool?
So basically, SAM4U tool, it reviews your current authorization and then forecast and provides you a view of what would be required if you were to move to S4HANA on-prem or S4HANA Rise. So as such, you don't need the roles to be classified. It basically reads all the users, their authorizations, and then matches against a star rule set and then gives you a classification for your S4 environment.
Perfect. And the last question that we have here is there a how to set up rule sets?
So rule set, like I said, it's predefined. You don't really need to set up a rule set. You just need to download the rule set, latest rule set from the SAP for Me portal, and then upload it into the SAM4U tool. And everything is taken care of in the background by, analyzing the data, consolidating it, and then matching against the star rule set. But if you have any specific
Perfect.
requirements there where the rule set need to be tweaked, then please reach out to us and we can work case by case and support you there.
Okay. I don't see any more questions, Larissa.
In the chat, there was one clarification. In the chat, you can see 3 links to the SAP notes that are relevant. This is actually a clarification for the question where the SAP notes relevant for SAM4U could be found, and we have a great advice in the chat. 3 links, you can jump directly in those. So I think there is one more question in the chat.
Yes, I just received. And
How
one more in the
often?
Q&A tool.
Yeah, so you prefer?
No, go ahead, please.
So in the chat, we have one question to clarify: how often is the rule set being updated?
So there's no set timeline or frequency for the updates, but if you'd like to get notified, you can always, mark it as a bookmark or, set notifications for any updates, and then you'd be notified as and when there are updates to the rule sets.
Mhm.
Perfect. One more question in the Q&A. Does the SAM4U need to be applied on all SAP relevant systems or one central systems like Solution Manager?
So it really depends on how comfortable you are with respect to the version requirements. So like I mentioned in my previous session, the SAM4U tool Fury app, it can be deployed on any system. It can be deployed on a sandbox or a development or a test or a production system. It doesn't matter. The key requirement here is to have the S4HANA ABAP platform with the version required for the implementation of the tool, that is 753 or above. If it is a solution manager where you have the RFC connections already established with your backend system, it is better so that you can bring the data automatically rather than through the manual feature of uploading it through the Fury app. So it is better to deploy it on a solution manager, but it can be deployed anywhere. It's not mandatory to use a solution manager or any central system.
Thank you. I see one comment on the chat as well regarding the 3 notes that were provided. one of those nodes, the node 34155573, which is the last one, it is not released yet. Is there any idea when it will be released?
I need to check into that node specifically, and then I can comment on it.
Perfect. One more question that we just received. Can this tool connect to multiple instances of SAP?
So the connection is based on the RFC. So you need to have the RFC connections established with the backend system, and then you can always connect at the ABAP layer with the backend system. And it could be, yeah, multiple instances.
All right. We also have one positive feedback in the chat. I also want to thank you about adding email user combination part, as I was asking last week. This is more efficient for most companies, I think.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, these calls and these sessions are mainly for you so that we can hear feedback and we can enhance our tool based on your requirements. So we encourage you to use the customer influence platform. And if you have any more requests, then please yeah, share your feedback or add your request for new features, and then we'll discuss it internally.
All right. And thank you, Imre, for sharing this feedback, because this is also
Larissa?
I think Larissa probably lost the connection, I guess. Let's wait for a couple of minutes to see if she is joining.
Mhm. Meanwhile, Chris, do you have any other questions or in the Q&A toolbox or the chat?
No, no, there are no more questions, not in the chat nor in the Q&A. One thing that I want to highlight, remember that every single license it's attached to a price. At the end of the day, we are creating this to help you, save some money. Because the more you can improve your licenses, the less money you have to expend on your SAP licenses. So any user that you can move from a professional classification to a self-service immediately will impact on the budget. So make sure to on with the tool. And if you have any questions, of course, feel free to reach out to us. We can help you at any time. And Nicole, I see you are connected.
Yeah, I'm connected, but I assume Larissa needs to dial in again. She probably has some connection problems. I'm not sure now this happens to Chris. He seems to be frozen too.
Yeah. Okay, I guess Chris also got logged off.
Yeah, I guess if there are no further questions, then we can close this webinar session.
All right. Then thank you so much for attending the session. And
Jigar, there is another question. Hold on.
okay.
A question: while we wait, do we have option for multiple consolidation? For example, using username and email as second consolidation rule.
So you can create multiple consolidation, but you need to select only one criteria at a time. You cannot have user ID and email address in the same consolidation.
All right. Thank you, Jigar. So as far as I see, all questions are answered. Chris is also back. Very good. So yeah, with that, I would like to thank everyone for joining this webinar session. Thank you for Jigar and Christian for featuring this valuable webinar and for providing insights. And with that, wishing you all a very nice day and talk to you soon in the next webinar. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much.